Right.
Okay. Shashi punge jutshi meto tram. Rirab lishi nginde genpadi. Sange shindu mite uwagi. Drokun nanda shinla upaso. Idam guru ratnam mandala kam niyatayami. Sange chudan shoki chotnam la. Jamcho badu dakni kapsu chi. Daki jins chungen gimpe sunangi. Drola penchi sange drupasho. Sange chudan shoki chotnam la. Jamchu badu dakni kapsu chi. Daki chungen gimpe sunam gi. Drola penchu sange drupasho. Sange chudan shoki chotnam la. Jamchu badu dakni kapsu chi. Daki chungen gimpe sunam ki. Drola penchu sange drupasho.
Yay. Hey, Chang Hao.
谢谢老师。
Look at you. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with a quiz. If you are not taking the quiz, please avert your gaze now. Here we go. Good luck. Everyone done? Anyone there? Okay. See it in the chat. Thank you. Ready? Is that a yes? I heard nothing.
Ready.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start class 8 of course 17. It's homework review. And it is the second class on course 9, which is about Pratimoksha vows. So here we go. Name 5 things which can cause any of the vows of individual freedom to be lost. So we talked about this a few classes ago when we were discussing the Bodhisattva vows, but here it is as a formal question. A, giving back your vows formally, which is an option. The karma is not supposed to be good if you do that, though, just so you know. Dying and transmigrating. That just means you die and go into the bardo. This p is the same as the p in like poa, which means to move on or something. Even to move in Tibetan is po, like to move rooms or something. Anyway, having both sexual organs appear on your body. So for some reason, having to do with how Vinaya works in conjunction with the sexual energy in the body, that if you have both organs, apparently it nullifies the vows because it's connected to the sexual energy in the body. Don't ask me why. 2, changing your sex 3 times. I don't know. Similar to the last one, I guess, was as to why. And then losing your core virtue, which is hard to do. I think it takes like sustained anger at a bodhisattva or some other horrible deed that you would do or horrible lifestyle that you would lead. So that's how you lose your vows. Okay. Here's a question. Which one of these is relevant to bodhisattva vows?
A and E?
That's okay. I mean, maybe E, definitely A, and definitely not B, C, and D. But I don't know. I don't know. Because what are the 3 ways to lose your bodhisattva vows?
Not know them in the first place.
No, you cannot know them and not lose them.
Oh, that's a different question. It's not the not knowing and the forgetting and the being.
That's how you can break a secondary vow.
Okay, let's see. Losing your bodhisattva vows.
Like how to break them?
Yeah, I know how to lose them.
Like give up the wish for enlightenment.
Yes.
And have wrong view.
Yes.
And then all the other vows with the 4 chains present.
All of them?
Every
bodhisattva vow?
All the root vows.
Yes. For reference, Aldo also wrote it in the chat. Good job, Aldo. Okay, you are right, Kelly McGee. So, I mean, officially only A, unless losing your core virtue means any one of those 3 things that Kelly McGee and Aldo just mentioned, which it may. I don't remember specifically what it means, but it would be hard for any of you to do. You'd have to become like Lex Luthor or something. Okay, if you know who that is. All right. 2, describe the 2 results of keeping these vows. You attain rebirth as a human or pleasure being, and you attain one of the 3 enlightenments. What word in Tibetan is Geshe-la translating when he says pleasure being? Who's this, Aldo? That's Sanskrit. But it's the same word. Aldo's right, but he's not right. Yeah, hla. Good. And why doesn't Geshe-la translate it as deity or God as it is often translated? Come on. Yeah, good. Yeah, Aldous says they're in samsara. Yeah, it's to distinguish between a tantric deity and a being that's still in samsara, which has been an issue for yogis for I don't know, maybe forever. They think they're enlightened, but they just went to like the form or formless realm. And then it's cool. I mean, for a couple eons or something, and then hell realms, which you know all about because we went over them. Okay. And you attain one of the three enlightenments. Three enlightenments? What do you mean three enlightenments? How's there three enlightenments? I thought there was only one enlightenment. Come on. We did this in course 15.
I can think of two, but I don't know what the third one is.
Yeah, you can. You can think of three, but give me the two, and then we're going to squeeze the third one out of you.
Aldo keeps giving me the answers.
Don't look in the chat.
I love.
Ready?
I was going to say full enlightenment versus nirvana.
Okay, that's good. Now, if you're divide nirvana into two different parts.
Nirvana into two different parts.
Two different kinds, or two different practitioners. The blankeners and the blankers.
The listeners and the self-made Buddhas.
Yay! Exactly.
What's different between their nirvanas?
The nirvanas are the same, but the practitioners are different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So technically you could say the two enlightenments and be correct. Actually, you could say the one enlightenment because all three of them aren't enlightenments, or you could say two enlightenments because one's just nirvana, and you could say the three depending on the practitioners.
Okay.
Yeah. You could be right in either or all three of those cases. Okay, name the two consistent consequences for each of the 10 non-virtues following the sutra on the 10 levels in similar works. Okay, this is one of the coolest things that comes out of this tradition, because it is amazingly clear as to the karma and the consequence. So based on this theory, if you follow this, if you understand how karma can then create, because I mean, everything must have a cause. A few people would argue that. So if you then come to believe / understand that that cause has something to do with your actions, then essentially you believe in karma. You can also then surmise that those causes are beyond your, we say ken in English, like beyond your knowledge or awareness to discern. Yes, but that's not to say they're not discernible by a being with more knowledge or awareness, right? Just like a baby believes you disappear when you play peekaboo, but an adult human doesn't. Okay, like if you've developed past the peekaboo stage, you know, like, where's Kelly McKay? Oh my God, she's not gone. Like she's still there. Oh my God, Aldo, come back. Oh, there he is. You don't have that kind of freak out, but a baby's like, oh my God, where's mommy? Yay, there she is. Like it's actually like a thing for them, right? So, Buddhas are like, why do you keep stepping on ants, dude? You have all this back pain. They're like, what's that got to do with anything? Right? That's your peekaboo to a Buddha. They're like, okay, let me explain this slowly in 84,000 books, And then thankfully, Lord Tsongkhapa was good enough to extract some of these parts because there's 84,000 Buddhist books, approximately, apparently. And just give us the nitty gritty, like the code. This is the cheat code to your reality, okay? So if you're having one of these problems, okay, so I'm going to name the problem. Okay, they're in order, okay, of the 10 misdeeds, by the way. And you're going to tell me what the thing that person did to get it, okay? And we can discuss. Okay, this is the 2 consistent consequences for each of the 10 non-virtues, all right? Your life is short and you get sick easily. What did you do?
You killed somebody.
Okay, Kelly McGee. So everyone who has this means they went all Texas Chainsaw Massacre on somebody?
No, they harmed someone somehow. This could show up in different ways.
Yeah, talk about that. So just because you're experiencing this thing doesn't mean you actually killed somebody?
I don't know how literal it is for this situation. Like, is it if you because the virtue itself is no killing, and it specifically even says humans.
That is the vow.
Oh.
The non-virtue is killing. It doesn't say human or otherwise. It just says killing.
Yeah, so then this could show up in different ways on a spectrum based on like the...
You're doing good based on the what?
The harshness with which you killed someone, or what you killed, or how you disrespected life. Exactly.
How you killed it, when you killed it, how much you killed it, how often you killed it, how habitually you killed it, what was your mind state when you killed it, did you kill it or did you just maim it, did you do it on purpose or on accident, etc., right? Because there are 4
the 4 chains of karma.
net.
No, 4 something.
4 steps to every karmic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what you meant. Yeah, exactly. 4 steps. Okay, Kelly McGee, what are those 4 steps?
Okay. There's like the identification of who you're doing the action against.
That is a sub-step.
Oh. That's like, it's like under the others. There's your intention, but I feel like there's a different word they use.
That is also a sub-step.
They
use motivation.
Motivation. There's like, I remember there's the actual completion of the act, and then there's like how
doing
you feel
it
about that.
Yeah, doing it, doing it is definitely one, and then how you feel afterwards. That's 3 and 4. So before
2 is like identification or something.
You said identification already. First, you have to have a thing you're acting on. An object.
An object. Yeah.
And then you have to have some thought process about it. And then you do something to it. And then how you feel after you did it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shi, Sampa, Jorwa, Tartuk in Tibetan. And then number 2, Sampa, which is how you think about it, can be broken into 3 parts. And I think you mentioned all 3 of those. They're how you conceive of the object, what's your motivation towards that thing, and then what is basically your mental state. They say mental affliction, but it's just like, are you full of rage when you did it? Are you happy? Are you ambivalent? Right?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and what do all these things sound like? If I talk about that, what does that sound like?
It sounds like the justice system.
Yay! Exactly.
Theoretically.
Yeah, exactly. This is the justice system. Yeah. The ideation, the ideal, right? It's basically just logic. Like, Okay, well, what were you thinking? How did you act? What actually happened? Okay, that equals 5 years in jail, right? It's just like, oh, wait, you're remorseful? Okay, 4.5, because that's Tartuk. That's afterwards, right?
Mhm.
If you're like, I meant to do it, I hated them. Okay, 6 years. If the whole thing was an accident, 6 months, that was an accident. Come on, what do you want from me? You know, if it was premeditated, 10 years, right? If it was premeditated but you killed the wrong guy, 7, right? Because you misidentified the object. You understand?
Yeah.
If it was premeditated, you did the wrong person and accidentally killed someone you love. It's just like, ooh, 4 years. Okay, that's too bad. And you felt really remorseful after. If it was premeditated, you picked somebody, you accidentally killed someone you loved, and then we're happy afterwards anyway. Okay, that's 12. You see what I'm saying? It's just like a calculation at that point, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Same with this. So, okay, that's it. So basically, you could kill like one person on purpose, and you would get a short life and get sick easily, or you could accidentally kill 1,000,000 ants and get the same thing, or you could like drive around in a car that was creating greenhouse gas emissions that would basically make it hard for 7.5 billion people to be alive for your whole life, and then there'd be some karma like that for that, right?
Mhm.
Okay, something like that. I'm not saying that is. I'm just saying that's how it works. Okay, number 2. You don't have enough to live on, and what you do have is all just common property with others. Yeah, you don't have enough to live on, and what you do have, you have to share. Ugh. What's that a result of?
Stealing.
Yeah, exactly. And these are pretty straightforward. I mean, you kill someone, your life is short. It's just like, okay, your life's cut short if you cut someone else's life short, right? Um, that's pretty straightforward. You take stuff from people for them to live on, and then you don't have enough to live on. Or like if you steal someone's car, they have to like borrow their mom's car, so or something. So then you steal someone's car, and then your karmic result is you don't get to own your own car, right? Okay, pretty straightforward. I hope. I think. I don't know. Number 3, the people who work around you are inconsistent, which here means unreliable, and you find yourself having a lot of competition for your like partner, like your romantic partner. Which one's this for?
Sexual misconduct.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you get the result of inconsistency?
Because I guess part of sexual misconduct is behaving inconsistently to your partner at one point.
Yeah, or
I mean, just not really being there for somebody consistently.
no, that's basically what you said, but or causing someone else to behave inconsistently towards their partner.
Oh, right.
Because there's 2 kinds of adultery, right? There's you adultering on your partner, or you adultering with someone on their partner, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Or both. I guess that's the third one, which is great. Okay, and you find yourself having a lot of competition for your partner because you created competition with someone for theirs, right? I think these are pretty straightforward. Okay. No one believes what you say, even when you're speaking the truth, and others are always deceiving you. Which one's that for?
Lying.
Yes. What famous, I don't know if it's German or what, but European children's story teaches this tale?
Oh, the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, exactly. And it's true, right? Even, I don't know, I used to joke around a lot. I mean, I joke around a good amount now, but I used to be so sarcastic all the time, like teenager, okay? Um, and it came to a point literally where people be like, why are you being so sarcastic? I'm like, I'm not being sarcastic. Like at that moment, I wouldn't be, but I don't know if it was the karma or like I was so used to sarcastic tone that like they'd be like, why are you being sarcastic? I'm like, I'm not. Like I'm really not. And they'd be like, yeah, you are. I'm like, what? So yeah, even that, like, because sarcasm is a kind of like, it's not lying, but it's saying something that's like not quite true to get a rise out of people, right? Like, wow, this class is so exciting, word. That's obviously not true, right? And so like um that was a joke. You're supposed to say, no, this class is amazingly exciting. Leah's excited. Kelly Miki doesn't care. Okay. But no, so even that, even like in jest, if you jest a lot, people won't believe you as much. I've found personally, or other people, I'm like, wait, are you telling the truth or not? Like you have to check, So there we go. Okay, 5. The people around you are always fighting against one another and have an undesirable character. Which one's that?
Divisive talk.
Yes. Aldo said divisible. 9 divided by 3 equals bad karma. We know what you meant, Aldo. Good job. Yeah, divisive speech. So yeah, breaking people up. So from breaking people up. And I don't know, in high school, I used to hang out with kind of like everybody, I even hung out with the racist kids sometimes. They thought I was cool. I don't know why. So I hung out with like the racist guys. I hung out with the black kids. I hung out with the nerds. I hung out with some like jocks. I hung out with the people who just like drank in the woods, I hung out with people who just played basketball. I hung out with all these. I hung out with choir people. I was in choir. All these different people. And sometimes I was around people, they were just always fighting, you know? And that's like very, very little in my life now, like very, very little. But yeah, in high school, middle school, it was a big part of my life. And it's horrible. It's horrible. First of all, now are they always fighting? You're always wondering when they're gonna fight you or try to fight you or something. It's really not fun. Yeah, and that goes along with the next part, and have an undesirable character, right? That's the second half, which kind of goes along with that, right? I mean, you don't want a friend who's, there's this thing I noticed. I don't know when I noticed. When did I notice? I think it was high school. Maybe it was even earlier. I don't know. We'll say high school. Um, you ever have this kind of friend that like it will talk bad about other, like your other friend? Like you have 2 good friends, and the one goes away to do something, and the other one starts to talk bad about that one who went away, like regularly. And then after a while, I was like, wait, what happens when I go away? Like when I walk away, and I just was like, I realized I'm like, I don't think I'm exempt from this, you know? So it's that kind of stuff where that's generally not the kind of friends people want, unless they're like that. And then for some reason, they think that's okay, which is part of the karma of doing bad deeds. You think people who do similar bad deeds are okay people, right? Like, narcos aren't hanging out in like church, all day doing church stuff, okay? And vice versa. You don't have priests like hang out with narcos, okay? I mean, maybe to do a christening or something, but you know what I mean. All right, you get it. The sixth, you hear many unpleasant things, and when others talk to you, it always seems to you as if they want to start a fight. I must admit, I'm confessing right now on the whole internet, I have a lot of harsh speech in my past, and I apologize. Not to Aldo, he deserved it, but to everyone else, no, to Aldo too. Because lately I've been experiencing this very thing. People just talking to me, and then I'm like, why are you talking to me like that? They're like, I'm not talking like anything. I'm like, you're being rude. They're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. They're like, what's your problem? I'm like, you're being harsh. They're like, nuh-uh. I'm like, damn it, harsh speech karma. Like it's annoying. And they won't even think they're doing the thing that you think they're doing. Okay? So, and you hear many unpleasant things. Okay? Sometimes I have the wherewithal when I'm hearing some horrible thing to be like, oh, there's the harsh speech karma again. If you live in, the city, especially, but there's other things, or just like the sound of people's voices or something will be annoying for no good reason, right? You're like, why is that so annoying? Or it will be annoying sometimes, but not annoying other times. And so there has to be a karma there, because if it was self-existently annoying, it would always be annoying, right? Hopefully I've generated good karma enough for you guys to remember this enough for my karma around harsh speech to go away. Yay! Okay. 7, no one respects what you say. No one thinks that what you say has any particular value, and you are afflicted with a lack of confidence. I do have some confidence issues, but okay, this is weird. Okay, this is weird. Have you ever had those like quiet kids in class, like in high school or wherever in college, and they never say anything? And then when they open their mouth, everyone listens to them like it was like the gospel, We say the gospel truth, like meaning like it's just true. But what they say could be totally nonsense, but people are like, oh, they're speaking. Like that's part of this karma. They never say anything idle. So when they open their mouth, people are like, oh, whoa, what did they say? And it still could be nonsense, and vice versa. Like, someone could sometimes talk a lot of, we say yang, a lot of bull, and then and all of a sudden say something very consequential and very relevant. But because people are so used to them being nonsensical or what have you, people are like, whatever. It's the habit that people are hearing, but it's also the karma that creates that, right? So, and confidence, it's like, I don't know, I think if you say things that are like, because this is called idle speech, but it could also be like useless speech. So if you say things that are useless, you'll probably feel useless. Right? All right. That's 7. Okay, the 8th one. Your personality is dominated by desire and you're never satisfied with what you have. What's that one?
Jealousy.
Basically, yeah. We say covetousness, which is similar to jealousy. I think me and Aldo had this argument. We had this argument, right, Aldo? What's the difference between jealousy and the 8th? The eighth misdeed. Geshe defines this very accurately as getting mad when someone gets what they want. Okay? To me, jealousy is not exactly that, but it could be that. To me, jealousy could be wanting what someone else has, right? So that's like, I'm jealous you have that new car. Oh my God. Like, you're not necessarily mad that they have the car. I mean, you could be, but you're also more mad that you don't have the car, right? Aldo, I thought about this argument because I didn't have a good response when we first had it. So there you go. That's my new response. Don't think I forget about these things you say, Aldo. I am constantly breaking my third Bodhisattva root downfall to get back at Aldo for trying to win arguments. Okay. The second part of that vow, not the first. I'm not trying to hit you. I'm just not letting go of my anger. Okay. Okay, now the ninth, which you probably know, you're always finding yourself without help or never find the help you need. You're always hurting others or always being hurt by others. Which one's that?
Wrong view.
I mean, wrong view can lead to any of them, by the way.
Oh, ignorance?
Nope.
Oh, Aldo's got it.
Aldo's got the answers. What did Aldo say?
Wishing harm on others.
Yeah, we just say ill will in English, right? And I don't know. So in the States right now, there's some pretty kind of nasty politics going on, right? It's extremely divided. And, you know, you could say Republicans and Democrats or right and left wing. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But, a few months ago, Donald Trump got COVID, right? And I remember he got COVID, and a lot of people were like, yeah, he deserves it. He got COVID. I was like, oh my God. I was just like, there it is. There's ill will. Like, they really thought, and I'm not saying I'm absent of ill will, but I am saying that if you think there's anything to gain by being happy when people get bad things, that's a serious misconception. Got it? I mean, it's a horrible misconception. Right? I mean, you have to think everything is random pretty much to believe that that's something worth doing. I think it's very hard to be moral if you don't understand karma. I think it's I rephrase my statement. I think it's impossible to be moral if you don't understand karma and emptiness. Literally impossible. I agree with Jason Kappa. Okay, number 10. You become a person who keeps harmful views or a deceitful person. Which one's that, Leah?
Oh, that's what I was answering before.
Oh, sorry.
That's the same thing I said before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What did you say?
Oh, I said wrong views.
Yes, you're right. Which is an interesting result. It's just like wrong views is a harmful view. So I guess because it like the karma to have wrong view is to continue to have wrong view. You understand? Which would create what?
It's the cycle. It's a cycle of life, or it's a downward cycle.
Yeah, the cycle of suffering, right? Yeah, Sipe Korlo, Bhavana Chakra. That's in Sanskrit, it's chakra, like a wheel, like literally, because that's what chakra is, right? Bhavana, like of being. Yeah, and that's sad. It's sad. Or you become a deceitful person. I've noticed something. I want to tell you. I want to give you some advices. How do you say that in Tibetan? Advices. Come on. Dampa. Kadampa. It's not ka because I'm not a Buddha, but it's a little dampa for you. Anyone who lies to themselves will lie to you. Okay? People who don't know what's going on in their own mind are not going to know. People who don't even know what's going on for themselves aren't going to be able to help you. Okay. If you need a teacher, I don't recommend me, but I'll help you if you need some help, okay? But if you want a good teacher, I recommend you find one that is honest with themselves. If they're not honest with themselves, they're not going to be able to help you. They really aren't. Okay? I am honest with myself, and I don't recommend myself to be your teacher. But I hope you find one, okay? Okay, number 4. Describe the environment. I'll help you if you need it, though, but trust me, I'm all screwed up. Describe the environmental consequence of performing each of the 10. All right, so we did, I believe they call those corresponding. Those corresponding, right? Oh, consistent. I mean, how many, for each kind of karma, how many general results are there for each one? How many fingers is that? Sorry, I can't see Kelly.
4.
Yay! Perfect. Can you
You're gonna
name
have to ask me what they are, and I'm not going to remember them all.
Okay, you're not going to remember them.
I know some of them.
Okay, tell me the ones you remember.
There's environmental.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's one that I don't remember the name of it, but it's like habits or tendencies.
Yeah, perfect. Habits. Yep.
Environmental habits. The type of rebirth you have.
Perfect. Yeah.
And there's one that's kind of like in between those that I can't.
Yeah, you're totally right. And a lot. Yeah, exactly. You got them all. I think they called those the corresponding one or something like that. I always forget what they name it because it doesn't necessarily, to me, sound like the thing that it is. Because some of them, it actually sounds like more environmental a little bit and like more habit a little bit, just like you said, in between, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you checking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, check. It's course 5 or something. Okay. I think they call it the corresponding consequence. You tell me if I'm right. Okay, here we go. They're in order again. 1, the consequence of killing express itself in the outer world around you. Food, drink, medicine, the crops in the field, and other such things have very little power. They are always inferior. They have little nutrition or potency. They're hard to digest, and they cause disease in you. Because of this, the majority of living beings around you die before reaching the end of a full life. And I don't know. Everyone here lives in like pretty wealthy countries, right? And it's fairly well. I mean, if you have a laptop right now and a home and electricity, I mean, I don't know your exact situation, and I'm not saying I do, but you're probably doing okay. Hold on. Oh, corresponding experience and corresponding habit. Is that how they Geshe says it? Maybe.
That's how I have it in my notes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And what did I say? Did I say corresponding?
Yeah, we knew that was a word in there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, experience. That could be your environment or a variety of things. Okay, good. That all makes sense now. Hopefully, I'll remember. Yeah, we all live in relatively wealthy countries. I mean, but why aren't people on this call from other countries? Okay, I mean, there are places in the world, um, throughout the world, and places in places, right? I mean, if you say China's wealthy, I mean, there's plenty of people within China or places in China that aren't as wealthy. You say United States is wealthy, there's places in the United States that aren't wealthy. Okay, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple countries, maybe Liechtenstein, Monaco, and maybe Singapore. I don't know, where there's virtually no poverty, right? But for the most part, I mean, there's probably one poor person in all those places, right? So I guess they're like the island of poverty in those places. Anyway, the point here is, these aren't necessarily things that we worry about, right? Food, drink, medicine. I mean, I don't think almost anyone, I mean, you might not have something in your fridge because you didn't feel like going to the store yet, but like, I don't know. I've lived at Aldo's house. I mean, Superam, there's like 5 supermarkets like in a few blocks walk. I don't know, Superama, Soriana. Uh, there's like 5 Oxos in like like 2 blocks of his house. You know, there's food all over. Not talking about the street vendors. You can buy coconuts, mangoes, juice. You know, it's everywhere. But other places aren't like that. Especially during Corona, you know, people are experiencing food shortages. There's a horrible food situation in Yemen right now, for instance. There's a lot of Ethiopian refugees going to Sudan right now due to some fighting in the north, and many other places. So the reason you live in a country where those things that keep you alive are not sparse is because you helped people. And a great Lama once talked about how, you know, there's a kind of amnesia that goes along with going into the bardo, like in between lives, if you believe in past lives. And due to that, not only don't we remember the bad things in our past lives, we also remember the good. But to have the kind of life where I can look at a thin piece of plastic and another slightly thicker piece of plastic with a bunch of wires and God knows what in it, and talk to Kelly McGee in New York, Aldo in Guadalajara, and all you other folks, you know, Tracy Wong in Singapore is like, or Malaysia, excuse me, is an incredible karma. Incredible. Like, and that would mean that either you just hit the karmic lottery, like on this life, like all these good little things you did over billions of years just happen to converge. Or, but more likely, especially if you're in this class on a Wednesday night, listening to me being tortured by my speech, you know that you have done some ridiculously good thing, like ridiculous. You know, and if you see your country's democracy, which has stood for 200 and how you date it, I guess 244 years, 245 years, all of a sudden being threatened by a bunch of yahoos with flagpoles and pitchforks and zip ties, you know, go help other people with their freedom quick, because Karma's run out. You know, what happened to every other empire and government and kingdom in world history? Why isn't anyone talking about the Phoenicians? Any word on Carthage lately? No. They died. They're dead. It crumbled. It ended. Rome ended. Ancient Greece ended. Right? All these civilizations. There's many, 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 many others. Hittites and I don't know, Akkadians, Babylon, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the reason you have it so good is because you did something good. The reason that it could end is because if you don't keep doing good things. All right, because you have stolen, then the crops are few and far between. The crops have no power to remove hunger. They spoil. They never come up. Dry spells stay on too long. It rains too much. The crops dry up or die off. Ooh, so maybe global warming is a stealing karma. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you live in a country that has 4% of the population, America, United States of America, and uses up like 20% of the resources, and I finally just started to see it. Like, I mean, order something from Amazon. You get a box with bubble wrap, with another bubble wrap, with the rubber bands, and the this and the that, and you just throw them in the trash. Like, that's literally oil, trees, rubber, what have you, metals, what have you. The people just chuck it. They just throw it in the trash, like, just for their convenience. Like, that's literally throwing the wealth of the world in the trash just so you can like get your whatever in one day or less, and like complain to Jeff Bezos if he doesn't show up at your house, or his drone doesn't show up with your new waffle iron or whatever it is. I don't know what people buy. So that makes sense. To think of global warming not as emissions coming out of something, because that's not karmic, right? But the actual act of rich countries stealing from poorer countries and hence poor people just so they can get what they want without thinking of others. Because whatever you do, if you use it to help others, you know, if it's not hurting others to do it at all or minimally, then it's going to change the deed, clearly, right? Hence bodhicitta. So don't steal people's stuff. Because you have done wrong sex, you live in a place where there is urine, feces all around, and mud and dirt and filth, and everything stinks, and everywhere seems unpleasant and distasteful. Okay. I was thinking about this recently. I was like, I must be doing okay with this one now. I live in suburbs right now. My mom's house, you know. There's some bad karmas coming up too. Trust me, don't worry. But the good karma is it's very clean, you know. It's like there's just trees pretty much. I mean, and like a whole bunch of cars, right? Obviously. But it's extremely clean. There's like no litter. It doesn't smell bad. It tends to smell pretty good. So I don't know. I'm pulling that one off for the time being. Maybe it's Corona. Corona helped out. It's not giving opportunity. Okay. Because you have lied, you live in a world where when you undertake farming or some work in cooperation with other people, in the end, the work fails to prosper. The people can't work well together. For the most part, everyone is cheating one another and is afraid where there are many things to be afraid of. Well, I used to lie a lot, to be honest. Most of these I personally don't experience. I'm just comparing them to my experience because I'm teaching the class, but if you guys have things you want to add in, I'm glad to hear them. But I really don't work well with others, right, Aldo? I mean, it's bad. Other people are like hanging out. They're like, hey, Song of Guadalajara, yay! I'm like, go away from me. Leave me alone. Stop talking to me. And so maybe that's my line karma. I don't know. I'm using this as a chance to confess my whole life. Hope it helps people. Okay. Because you have split people up with your talk, the very ground in the place you live is all uneven, covered with crags and gullies, full of highs and lows, so that you can travel only with difficulty, and where you are always afraid, and there are many things to be afraid of. So there are places in the world like that. I happen to right now live in this place that's basically nothing like that. It's super easy to travel anywhere. You know, I mean, there's Corona, so that's a whole other thing. But I could literally walk down the street and be connected all the way to like Maine or something, you know, by train, or all the way down to, I don't know, Florida, I guess, by a different train. You know, things like that. But which is this one? Because oh wait, it says it. It says you split people up, and it makes sense. You split people up, and then it's like things are split apart, right? I think this one is for traffic jams too, because you travel with difficulty. So anytime you put roadblocks basically in front of people or in between people, even when I'm in the car, if people want to go faster than me, I try my best to just get out of their way. You know, no matter how fast they want to go, because I don't like to put blocks in front of people, right? And so divisive speech is not NYC subway karma. You mean like the crappiness of the subway recently?
I mean, I haven't been on the subway in like almost a year, but in normal times, the like random times you get stopped on the subway for an hour.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it was like that I lived in New York in the 80s when I was a kid, and it was bad. And then sometime in the 90s it got good again. Like they dumped all this money in, and then that ended. So, you know.
Then everybody started riding it, and they couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, there was all this budgeting stuff too.
Now.
I looked into it. Yeah, there's all this weird budgeting stuff. But yeah, but why did it happen to that? You know, why was the budget of that hurt? You know, would say you can talk about the how and you can talk about the why. The how is, yeah, a bunch of mayors like, you know, divested from the subway, yada, yada, yada. But it's because of your divisive speech that you have to see that a bunch of mayors did that, right? And then I was in China, I was in Shenzhen, and the subway there is like ridiculous. It was spotless, and it's just like this super efficient thing. So but my Shenzhen karma ran out. Okay, 6. Because you have spoken harsh words, the ground where you live is covered with obstacles like trunks of fallen trees and thorns and stones and clouds of dirt and lots of sharp broken pieces of glass. It's rough and dreary. No streams or lakes or springs of water. The whole earth is parched, poisoned with salt and borax, burning hot, useless, threatening. A place where there are many things to fear. What's this one from? Oh, it says there. Damn it. Anyway, harsh speech. So Geshe used to joke around and say, "Oh, this is the one we did for Diamond Mountain." He might say that again, but like, or for Phoenix or something like that, where, yeah, there is the Salt River, I guess, but generally speaking, it's the desert, right? But what is one thing that we have to make clear when we talk about these as negative karma? Okay, I'll answer this. Is a clod of dirt itself negative?
Nope, empty.
Yeah. So what do you have to say if you call these all these things negative karma?
We'd have to say that we don't like those clouds of dirt.
Exactly. And Aldo added for me, and you're both exactly right. Both those answers together. You have to say you experience it as negative. Because someone could say, hey, word, F off. And I could be like, yeah, F off. Totally, man. And like get like a rush of like joy or something, right? Or someone could say, hey, word, I love you. And I could be like, you blankety blank, I hate you, right? I'm pretty sure both those things have happened to me at some point. The second one more regularly, okay? So yeah, you have to say it's if you experience these things as negative, because all the non-virtues are non-virtues, right? Because if you said it wasn't negative, then like if it wasn't experienced as negative, then it would mean
You didn't have that karma. You didn't have it as a negative karma.
yeah. Well, it's basically what Leah said. Then things wouldn't be
Empty.
yes. Exactly. Understand? So even the bad things in the world aren't bad. I get annoyed sometimes. I watch the news and they'll be like, it's like, now we're gonna watch a disturbing video. Oh, is it disturbing? Really? To who? You have to say to who, right? You can't call the video disturbing. You can't really say it's cold outside. You can say it's 38 degrees out, right? Or whatever it is. But can you say it's cold? Yes or no?
No, because somebody might experience to somebody else that might seem kind of warm. I mean, I was just reading about the article of the Nepalese that climbed K2 in the winter, and it got down to like negative 76. So they might be like, oh, 32, that's really warm.
Yeah, exactly. There's always that white kid in shorts when it's snowing out, like walking around. There is. You know what I'm talking about? He's like got Birkenstocks and shorts, and you're like, what the? And he was completely comfortable, usually like a redhead or something. You're like, and you're just like, aren't you cold? And he's like, no, I'm not cold. And you're like, oh, not cold to that person, right?
Yeah, or like a teenager.
A teenager. I mean, I guess depends. Yeah, it just depends on the person. That's all I'm saying. And that depends on their karma because it's empty. That's all. Okay. Because you talked meaninglessly, fruits refuse to grow on the trees or they just grow at the wrong times, never at the right times, and seem ripe when they're still not ripe, or their roots are frail, or they don't stay long, or there are no places to take your leisure, no parks, no glades, no pools of cool water, and many things around you to make you afraid. Yeah. Most of this, I mean, makes sense to me logically. I mean, all the karmas I'm gonna understand perfectly because I'm not a Buddha, right? But it makes sense. Why does it make sense that idle speech would result in fruits refuse to grow on the trees, or they start to grow on the wrong times, or never at the right times, and seem to be ripe when they're not still ripe, or the roots are frail, so on, or they can't stay long? Why would those things, or even, yeah, all of this, yeah, why does that make sense?
There's no value to them.
Yes, exactly. It's like I'm saying things, but there's nothing really behind it, and that's like, oh my God, I moved to Tucson in the early 2000s. I lived in Tucson for a while, and I would ride a bike around, and one day I was riding a bike around. I saw all these trees filled with oranges, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my god, orange!" You know, there's like one on the ground or something. Or I picked it up and I like opened it, and it's like not a real orange. It's like these ornamental oranges that aren't edible. I'm like, why would someone grow fake oranges? Like, doesn't it take just as much energy to grow real oranges and then you would have oranges? But that would be some kind of idle speech karma, right? Like, some of you have never seen or even heard of such a thing, right? Yeah, I've seen those things hundreds of times, if not thousands of times. So that would mean I had enough idle speech karma to experience it and like to be fooled by it. You had just enough to hear about it once in this class and probably never again, never have to deal with it again, right? Okay, cool. So why would you have no place to take your leisure? Parks, glades, pools of cool water. Like, why would you have no place to chill? I have a theory I like, and the way I remember this part.
Because you're like falsely, I don't know, you're being idle in the wrong situations.
Yes. So hold on, stop the video because I'm grabbing my cord. Exactly. That's what I thought. You waste all your chill on just talking blank. Oh, excuse me. That's how I remember it. I don't know if that's what the Buddha would say, but that's how I think of it.
What do you think about how it seems like a lot of these speech ones?
Make you afraid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about that one too. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like speech is more related to emotion, you know? Like the one, because the ones of body are more related to like your physical world, you know what I mean? Like what you see, and then or can touch, you know? And then the ones of speech are also related clearly, these environmental results, um to what you see in your world, but also they have a strong like emotional component. So that's how I think of it, because I've asked the same thing. I was like, oh, it seems like a lot of them just you end up being afraid. It's like by saying things that don't are somehow off, right? Then you create a situation where you feel off in a bad way, you know?
Yeah, like you can't you're putting things out in the world through your speech that are not trustworthy.
Yeah, and then you don't trust anything.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh, a couple questions. Why do they keep talking about fruit and crops and stuff?
Because they're farmers.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why. I mean, today, if you wanted to really hit somebody, you would say, because you talk meaninglessly, your 401k refuses to grow, you know? Your ETFs ripen at the wrong times, you know? Like, the stock market crashes and you have no money. The stock market booms and you have no stock. You see what I'm saying? Like the basement of your house floods. You know, it's like this is just the way they put it in Jason Kopp was synthesizing this from the sutra, so he wrote it down sometime in like, the 14th, 15th century as a reflection of, or, writings on what Lord Buddha said, in the 5th century BC, but they're just saying what people experience, like, that's why Geshe Michael wrote the Diamond Cutter, the Buddha on business, because people care about business. I just heard a figure a couple days ago, 1.3% of Americans are now farmers. Okay, which is, in statistics, when you get to 1%, that's almost negligible, right? So like, right? So if you talk in farming language to people, it's almost negligible the amount of people who are going to understand. If you ask a random kid, hey, Billy, where does milk come from? The store, They don't, that's all they know, it's the store. Or they might be like, from a cow, moo, right? Or whatever. But they never saw a cow really. So yeah, even though this isn't like the language of farms and crops, fruit or what have you, reflect, and when you teach it, talk about it in a way your audience is going to understand as well. And understand that the reason it's in that language is due to the experience of the peoples at that time. So it's still relevant, it's just the language needs to just change. Okay. Because you have coveted what others have, then each and every good thing you ever managed to find starts to get worse and worse, less and less with the passing of each of the 4, I think it should be 4 seasons, and in every month and even day by day. Why does that make sense? Come on. Bird wants to go to bed soon. Answer.
You want stuff. You want more stuff. You're never satisfied. And and so instead of getting more and more, you get less and less.
Yeah, someone else gets what they want, and instead of being happy for them, which is basically like engaging in the energy that would want to see someone get more of that, you do the opposite. And so when you get that, that's what you experience. You experience it draining and getting less and less, as opposed to getting greater and greater. Right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Something like that. That's what I think. And I like your response too, Leo. Okay. Because you have wished bad things on others, you live in a world of chaos where diseases spread and evils everywhere, and plague and conflict and fear from the armies of other nations, where there are many lions or leopards or other dangerous animals, where there are everywhere venomous snakes or scorpions or poison biting worms, surrounded by harmful spirits and thieves or muggers and the like. Woo! And honestly, when I read this, not to be derogatory whatsoever, I hope this helps people. Honestly, the first thing I thought of was Africa, and sadly, the continent is extremely diverse and there's many countries and many different things going on. But, I feel like quite a few countries have been stuck in various forms of this for quite some time in recent history. And it gets very sticky because there's been a lot of horrible things that happen in Africa, via colonialism and such. But at the same time, as Buddhists, you don't say that to a person who's traumatized generally, unless they're your student and they're ready for it, okay? Like, don't teach emptiness to someone who's not mentally prepared, right? What's that?
Bodhisattva vow.
Which one?
Root downfall.
Which one?
Somewhere between 9 and 18, I think.
Between 10 and 18, right?
Yeah.
I think it's 12, right? Or is it 11? Oh, I think it's 11. Anyway, did someone write it? Oh yeah, it is 11. I was right. Yeah. I remember the quiz I took like a couple days ago. Isn't that great? Okay. But yeah, it's kind of like if you have ill will, you're gonna have a whole lot of problems. Okay, and let me tell you something. I'll tell you something real. I'm Jamaican. Okay, my whole family's from Jamaica. Everyone. I'm first generation American. My sister has a baby now, so he's the first American in my family, like born in America. I mean, no, I'm born in America. He's second generation. So anyway, we're Jamaican. So that's the point. And it's a wild place, people. I mean, it's not as wild as other places, but wow, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff that you don't really find in the States, okay? And it not to in any way take away from its beauty or amazingness, because it is amazing and it is beautiful, but there's a lot of stuff like this there. And like, to be honest, my experience of a lot of Jamaicans is there's a lot of ill will of a sort you do not really find in the US. Really. And it's crazy to see, it's sad and it's difficult. And I'm not bringing it up to in any way glorify or justify any wrongs that are done to anyone, but it's true in my experience. And then these things go on, you know? I mean, there's countries in the world where you can't really touch the ground much. If you touch the ground, you're going to get a parasite or something. You know, there's countries in the world where you can barely go into their wilderness areas at all, or you will get robbed, you know, or killed, or something horrible happen, and stuff like that. And obviously, those things happen in the States too. I'm not saying it doesn't. But so anyway, think about it. You know, I study geopolitics, so I like to think of these things in geopolitical terms. Because everyone's always looking for a solution. It's always like, well, the left-wing people want to spend more money. Well, the right-wing people want to spend less. Who's right, the left wing or the right wing? It was like, shut up. Like, you nitwits, like neither one works. Like, it has nothing to do with the amount of money you spend. It's karma, you know? Somebody write a letter to Mitch McConnell. I guess Chuck Schumer now, right? Okay. Anyway, 10, because you have held wrong views, then you live in a world where the single highest source of happiness is steadily disappearing from the earth. A world where people think that things that are unclean and things that are suffering are actually nice and happy. A world where there's no place to go, no one to help, nothing to protect you. Hey, that kind of sounds like my world. Oh no! Better get rid of this wrong view. And in Buddhism, they have this thing called Chinchilok. Does anybody know Chinchilok? Chinchilok Shi. Shi means four. We should look it up. Let's look it up. Why not? There's a whole. All right, here we go. We're gonna look it up because it's very relevant and I love talking about it. Here we are, a whole bunch of data. Tibetan, Chinese, Pinyin, and English. Chin, Chi, Lok. Hold on. There's two of them. Chinchi Lokpa is someone who Chinchi Loks. Chinchi Lokshi is those four views. Look, word put in the English ruins the surprise. Anyway, I'll do the Tibetan. So this is 4 kinds of lokta. What's lokta? Maybe Aldo knows. Aldo, what's lokta? Ooh, nice, Aldo. Yes, wrong view, incorrect view. Perfect. It's 4 kinds of wrong view, okay? And if anyone really, really cares, it is the 4 wrong views that relate to the 4 of the 16 aspects of an Arya, according to the Abhidharma Kosha. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Okay. So if you have these 4 views, you believe that things that are impure are actually pure. Mitangwa, la tsangwar zin. Okay. This just means hold. You hold to that. You believe that. Or takme pala tak tutsinpa. You believe that things that are selfless have a self, right? Tukneal dewarn zinpa. You believe things that are things that are actually suffering are a good time. And mitakpa la takpar zin. You believe that things that are actually, I think you could use impermanent here, not changing. Could you? Maybe, I don't know. Things that are changing are actually things that are changing are actually unchanging. Yeah, I think you have to use changing, unchanging there. Okay, and so these are 4 wrong views that are extremely prevalent in our world today, in my view. Right? Like, I don't know, something that would be pure, like just go for yourself. Like, don't worry about anyone else. Just do it for yourself. Right? Like, just do it for yourself. That could be something. Mitsangwa la tangwan zin, something that's pure, it's impure. Okay, things that actually don't have a self have a self. That's pretty much everything, right? People thinking anything has a self when in fact it doesn't. Or like, yeah, man, it's your soul, man. You're like your soul. Okay, people talk about souls. Anyway, and suffering that is actually pleasure. I don't know, any of the millions of drugs people do, for instance. And then mitakpa la takpan zin. Yeah, this is just like everyone's lives. Like, I can't believe I'm getting older. Really? You can't? Like, I can't believe my house burnt down. I can't believe or anything that you can't believe that it became something. I had someone said to me, they're going through some suffering and they're like, this never happened to me before. I'm like, how is that relevant? Like, if you won $1 million, that also never happened to you before. Like, the fact that it never happened to you before has no bearing on whether it is why or whether it would happen to you now, right? And if you thought that, you would be mitakpa la takpan zinpa, okay? And che just means basically like those are, and then shio, the 4. She is 4. O is period. Okay, that's Chinchilok. All right. No one really cares, but I taught you anyway. So, yeah, because of your wrong view, you believe in Chinchilok. You believe in those 4 things. You believe in things that actually are going to hurt you or actually good. You believe in things that will stay. You think things will stay forever. American democracy is going to stay forever. I don't have to do anything. I'll just sit here and watch YouTube. It's going to be okay. I hear people say stuff like that. Don't worry, it's going to be all right. Really? When has it ever been all right? How dare you say that to me? It's going to be all right? Really? You think? And then you could take another higher view and like be like, oh, but it's a tantric deity. Everything is going to be all right. But that's a different story. Okay, 5. Name and explain briefly the 4 special qualities of the teachings on the steps to enlightenment. Okay, so at the end of this course, Geshe Michael, I think it's the last 3 classes. Geshe Michael teaches Lam-Rim. So this is why there's some Lam-Rim questions at the end here. And I found this to be true about the Lam-Rim. I've heard of different Buddhist teachings in the world, and I haven't studied them as thoroughly as I've studied this tradition. But it seems to me, okay, my view, when people talk about those things, that it's not as cohesive as my education, which has included a huge amount of Lam-Rim. Specifically, the Lam-Rim is taught by Pabunka Rinpoche, called the Liberation Thrust into the Palm of Your Hands. How do you say that in Tibetan? Lakpa. Oh my God. Lakpa Chang? Namchang? Changnam? Oh my God, my brain did something. Anyway, it'll come to me. Anyway, so here are the 4 special qualities of Lam-Rim. You realize that insofar as there are all direct or indirect factors in reaching enlightenment, absolutely all the Buddhist teachings are free of any inconsistency at all, meaning they all gel. And that's hard. If you just tried to study the sutras, that would be very hard to realize. But with Lam-Rim, especially in my humble view, and also, limited perspective, as taught through the Jason Koppa's lineage, it's very clear how they gel, and they seem to have an emphasis on that. 2, all the high speech of the Buddha strikes you as personal advice. What's the word for personal advice?
Dampa.
Yay! If all the words of the Buddha struck you as personal advice, what would you call your group?
The Kadampas.
Yay! Because Ka means what? Ka.
Buddha.
The word of the Buddha.
The word of the Buddha. Okay.
Yes, good. Okay, perfect. And I don't know, there's these stories of people going to see like certain high lamas and they're like, oh my God, he was looking right at me. Everything he said was about me. Have you heard people say that? I have a lot, especially with certain teachers. They're like, dude, it was just all about my life. Like I don't even know why anyone else was there. This is just for me, but then you'll have like, everyone will say that. So that's one of the karmas that's one of the qualities of Lam-Rim. Okay, see, you'll grasp this true intent of the victorious Buddhas. That is how each and every teaching they give is directed at our reaching enlightenment, and how nothing they say is ever not so directed. I believe that. Go Buddhas. D, you will be protected from the great mistake of rejecting any of the Buddhist teachings because of this realization that they all contribute to one's reaching enlightenment. If you're not sure about one of the Buddhist teachings, what should you do? 2 words. Second word, it.
Shelve it.
Yay. Okay. Those are the 4 special qualities of Lam-Rim. Okay, so for the last portion of class, we're going to go over the qualities that you want in a Lama, okay? or a teacher. And what can I say about this? I don't know. I don't have any of these qualities, okay? So just take this as us reviewing homework. You should be really cautious about who you pick as a teacher. And as a friend, you should be cautious about who you associate with in general. There's a thing called boundaries, okay? And because I don't have good ones, I'm going to explain them to you to get some karma. Have the proper boundaries with whomever you are dealing with. If someone doesn't have these 10 qualities or something very close to that, do not take them as your teacher unless you are very ready and very willing to go through some things. Okay? And if someone's your student, keep them as your student. If you want to move to something else, be clear about it. Have proper boundaries. Don't put yourself in a position to get hurt. If you don't have the worldview, the wherewithal, the ability to be experiencing something as good and be doing good things about it and still keep your bodhicitta, you've gone too far. Okay? And you need to back off and you create a boundary. Right? What did Master Shantideva say about our capacity to practice? Yes. Aldo got it. Give vegetables. Aldo, I'll tell you though, broccoli is the plural of broccoli. Unless you have different variety of broccoli. No, you don't say varieties of broccolis. But you're awesome, Aldo. You're exactly right. Give vegetables. Don't start sawing off your pinky finger, giving your kidney away. You're just gonna regret it and get mad and try to get it back. And let me tell you something. It's much easier to give a kidney away than to get it back. Okay? So here we go. 11 minutes, 10 qualities. 1, controlled. Okay, this is the same word. This is tulwa. The first 3 are the 3 extraordinary trainings. First extraordinary training is the extraordinary training in morality. You want them to have that. You want them to be ethical. And like, you want that to mean something to them. Not just nice, ethical, purposefully following a code of ethics where other people don't get harmed. Even if they do sometimes. That's crucial. Because if they're just doing good things for people when they feel good about them, that code of morality will break down extremely fast. Trust me. I've been on all sides of that statement. Okay. Peaceful. They possess concentration. You don't want a teacher who can't focus. I've been blessed by amazing teachers who have absurd concentration where it's just like, whoa, like, I mean, Holy Geshe Michael literally works on projects for like 40 years. He's just like, this is what's happening, you know? My Qigong teacher, his wife said his concentration was ridiculous. She would say when he was writing, it's like gunshots could go off and he wouldn't budge. He would just be like writing and he would just like churn out books and like amazing stuff. So I've been blessed by beings with very amazing concentration. So trust me, you want that. Concentration will help you in any aspect of life. Okay? Anything. You want to be good at something, you have to be able to concentrate. And if you want a good teacher, they have to be able to concentrate to be good at that. Right? Okay. You've been warned. Completely peaceful. So this answer here says possessing the training of wisdom. Usually this refers to having some some notion, some high understanding of emptiness. Some people say here that this refers to seeing emptiness directly, but then there's a quality later that is that as well. So this one, sometimes you hear is like a high intellectual understanding of emptiness as well. So, but I'm sure it could be either. I mean, if they've seen emptiness directly, they qualify, okay? But if they have a high intellectual understanding, they qualify as well, but not as well as someone who saw it directly, okay? Or with exceeding qualities. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. You want, no matter what you study, please, you want a teacher that's better than you at that thing. Now that might seem obvious, okay? But just to be real, if you want to learn piano, you're not going to go to someone who's not as good at you as piano, because you're going to end up teaching them. All right? So if you want a student, worse than you at that thing. If you want a teacher, better than you. Right? This is like baseline. Okay, having effort. This is, they're gonna work hard, and we say in a joyful way, to get enlightened, to help themselves get enlightened, and to help other people do it as well. Because this stuff is really hard work if you really do it. If you don't really do it, it's not hard work. So if it's not hard work for you, you either already did it or you're not doing it, okay? Sorry. Rich in scripture. Basically, this is they know what they're talking about. I mean, specifically, it is knowing the scriptures. But the scriptures, they know the scriptures is important because the scriptures know the thing that you're trying to study, right? It's like you want a physics teacher who understands all the formulas and knows them, because if they're going to teach them to you, they have to know them. So scriptural knowledge. Lungi chuk. Lung means scripture. Chuk means rich. It literally means to have cows, because again, farmers. It's like the English word pecuniary, which comes from the Latin for cow, meaning they have a bunch of wealth, cattle. Anyway, 7, with a deep realization of suchness. Okay, this is ideal. If you want to become an Arya, Arhat, Bodhisattva, Bhumi levels, Buddha, etc., you want someone who is as high on that scale as you can have the karma for, okay? Aryas are nice, trust me. But if you can get a Buddha who are also Aryas, that's even better. And why not have both? You got some Buddhas here, some Aryas here, some Arhats over there. Trust me, they're all going to teach you stuff. Okay. Not that I've ever met such beings. Have I? I don't think so. A master teacher, maybe I have. Not that I can confirm. I can't confirm anything. Forget I said anything. Okay. 8, a master teacher, in the sense of teaching exactly in accordance with the disciple's capacity and as slowly as necessary. Okay, I'm really bad at this. Sorry, everybody. I hate teaching slow. If you're slow, I love you. I'm a bad teacher for you. I'm not a master teacher. Okay? But you want someone for you who's going to teach at your capacity. Otherwise, you're not going to learn. It's not good enough that they know the subject matter and can teach it if they can't teach it to you. I mean, even if you had, you know, Jimi Hendrix is your guitar teacher. If he's going too fast, you're never going to play like Jimmy, okay? Or Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton's still alive, right? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Clapton's good at guitar too. Okay, 9. The image of love. you want someone's motivation to be love. Otherwise, it's like your mom. I mean, I live with my mom right now. It's just like the amount of blank that she's put up with me and my siblings, it's like absurd. I think about it sometimes, I'm like, I would never put up with this from anyone. And she's just like, okay, not all the time. I mean, sometimes she don't mess around. She's wrathful, which is good. I need it. But you want someone like that, because otherwise, what do they say? They're not gonna have enough skin in the game. Okay, if they don't really love you, they're gonna be like, because let me tell you something. Students are a lot of trouble. Sorry, guys. You guys are okay because we have Zoom protecting me from you. But in person, they're like, hey, where's the meeting? I need to, hey, my mom. You're like, go away. You're like children. There's a reason I didn't have those. But you're gonna want someone that has a lot of love in their heart for you, or it's gonna be very hard for them to stick with it, because teaching is like parenting in a lot of ways. Not that I have children, but from what I've gathered. And 10, overcome all distaste. Basically, they'll keep teaching the same thing over and over and over, even if people didn't learn any Tibetan in their summer course. I'm joking. Leah learned some. Anyway, yeah, they're willing to teach it over and over again.
And I'm going to learn more at the Mixed Nuts in February.
Oh, good for you. Right on. Anyway, let me teach you guys something. Teaching is more fun than being a student anyway. So it's not as bad as it is having to sit there and listen to like me blah 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 endlessly. It's kind of cool actually. All right, that's class. Who wants to do the mandala? Well, if there's a question or something, I'll answer it. Nada? All right, fine with me. We're gonna end on time. Woohoo! Now for the mandala. Who did it? Tracy Wong? Tracy Wong. Jinbei Hama?
好了，老师。
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Shashi Pungi Joshi Meto Tran Rirab Lingshi Ngimpe Gempa Di Sange Shindu Mite Uwagi Drokun Nanda Shinla Chupa Sho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niyatayami Gewadi Gewoku Sunam Yeshe Sochushin Sunam Yeshe Lejum We Dampa Umi Topa Sho.
Yay, we did it. Hey, Chang Hao, Tracy Wong.
谢谢老师。
Tracy Wong, need a 中文的名字。
Oh, it's very easy.
说什么？
慧慧。
灰灰？
啊，慧慧。
灰灰？
Yes.
OK， 谢谢你，灰灰。
谢谢老师。
Okay. Cool, everybody. Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Word.
Cheers.
Por
Word.
nada. Literally. Uh Friday's class, Saturday's class, and Sunday there'll be class. So get prepared. We're gonna finish this course and by the end of the weekend. Okay, and then course 18 will start next Monday. All right. Okay, see you Friday for class number 9.
Bye.
Okay. 再见.
再见，老师。
Oh yeah, thanks Aldo. Thanks Anna, Karina, whoever grabar the recorder. All right, bye
Thank you, Word.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.